Economic abuse is a devastating form of domestic abuse that can severely restrict the choices of victim survivors and have far-reaching long-term consequences. The New South Wales Government is committed to helping victim survivors of domestic and family abuse through investing hundreds of millions of dollars in perpetrator interventions, in victim support, and in prevention strategies. But we can't do this alone. There is no easy solution to domestic and family violence, and everyone in society has a part in addressing this scourge. Women who are fleeing domestic violence are not only fleeing violent homes, often with little or nothing, but also at the same time trying to extricate themselves from financial perpetrators. It's important that organisations grow in awareness and in having better and improved responses to economic abuse. And that's why this guide is so important. It can play an important role in raising awareness of economic abuse and improved and faster outcomes, which can only offer greater safety and better support for victim survivors in need.
I'm Suzanne Evans, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer for Sentier Investors here in Australia. Increasingly we're seeing more about domestic economic abuse, the impact that it has on a woman's financial security, but also the linkages that we see through to domestic and family violence. People experiencing this abuse are in our workplaces, which means this isn't just a societal problem, it's a business problem. And therefore, I think now's the time for us to start thinking about broadening responsibility and making business part of the solution. Support My Economic Safety is a resource that's designed to help businesses address issues around domestic and family violence, and importantly, people who are dealing with domestic economic abuse. I encourage you to access the resource and use it across your workplace.
As a partner in the community impact practice here at EY, I've spent the last 15 years designing and implementing interventions in the financial capability, vulnerability, and abuse spaces. And across that time, what evidence has shown and experience has confirmed is that economic abuse has devastating and long-lasting consequences for safety and well-being. Research, both our own and others, confirms vital insights we should hold in mind when dealing with this issue. Firstly, we know that anyone can become vulnerable, and that these are not issues that are restricted to only some segments of the population. Issues of economic abuse are widespread, the issue is significant, and the issue needs urgent attention of many groups if we're going to solve it. Secondly, whilst anyone can become vulnerable, there is a close relationship and correlation between economic and financial abuse and financial stress and hardship. And that means that the risks are not evenly distributed, and all organizations across sectors need to evolve and improve their approaches to dealing with vulnerable customers. Thirdly, we know that vulnerability can appear in very surprising places, and we need to ensure systems, processes, and people are aligned behind identifying, reducing, and supporting vulnerable customers. And fourthly, we know that this is not a theoretical problem. It requires practical, effective interventions that change the game on the ground if we want to make an impact, which is one of the reasons that the Support My Economic Safety Guide is such a useful tool, because it provides practical, implementable guides to action. The truth is, this is a shared challenge, and all of us across industry, across government, and across the community have an important role to play in combating this critical issue.
Economic safety is a human right. It's the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of a person and their family. The right to food, housing, medical care, and essential services. Perpetrators of domestic abuse work to undermine their partner's economic safety and reduce their options and exert control. Often they'll use products, services, systems to extend that abuse. Women are disproportionately represented in domestic abuse statistics. We know that. And without economic safety, too many women are forced to choose between adverse options for themselves and their children. But we don't have to accept the status quo. Organisations such as yours can choose to learn about economic abuse. can choose to support victim survivors and can choose to limit the harms caused by perpetrators. This resource can help organisations plan their response to economic abuse to support the economic safety of women, children and others experiencing family violence. I commend this resource to you.